Welcome to this time lapse where I paint a figure painting of this girl from start to finish. As you can see, as usual, I start on a canvas covered with raw umber to make it toned down. I always start with light areas, as you can see here, and I just keep on adding in more and more detail. As you also can see, I start with a face and I try to get the face basically in the right spot, and then I just let everything evolve from there. Doing it this way, I usually come out on top because you only have to get one of the objects in the painting right. The rest kind of just goes out from there, and it's easier to see. Also, I use a mirror if I wonder if I've done some drawing mistakes and stuff. I have the photo hanging beside the figure I'm painting, and then I view it in the mirror at the same time as I see the sketch I'm doing. That way I can actually see in a more objective way where the biggest mistakes is to be found, and adjust as I go along. Now I have to say, which I say in many videos, what I use as a grounding or as a primer on my linen canvas is basically 2 layers of gesso. I buy canvas that actually has 1 layer, but the problem with that canvas is if you only have that layer, you will still see all the linen structure. And when you do paintings like this, figurative paintings, that structure can actually be quite difficult to handle, especially in the places where you want shadows to be and stuff like that. I also use the gesso to make some textures and brushwork in the gesso as I go along, and I do cover up the linen structure in a place like faces where I know it's going to be more shadows, so we don't get this kind of that the light hits the low areas in the paintings, because then it kind of disturbs the whole depth of it when it's finished. It's very annoying. But as you can see, I do use very thick opaque paint. I also use Old Holland. I think, and the paint I use, the white I use is kind of is titanium white, not zinc. It's too runny. I think it's not thick enough. So I like the titanium white. I also like the thickness of the Old Holland paint because it's more like clay-like. I also mix in a little bit of Winsor Newton. And Michael Harding actually is also a very good paint. So, but mostly it is Old Holland. As you know, Winsor Newton colors has a little bit more oil in them, and so does Michael Harding. But when it comes to Old Holland, it's a very thick color with a lot of pigment in them, and a little, not so much filler. Very expensive, but worth every dime, I think. The funny thing in this video, if you see in the beginning, I had lost a lot of hair because I had actually COVID-induced hair loss when I started on it, and I've lost some hair, of course, but I lost most of it after COVID. And during the painting process, it started to come back. So if you notice how my hair actually thickens during the process, quite funny. Now back to the painting. Here you can see I just start molding, and there you saw a glimpse of me looking at it in the mirror. And in the main tutorial, which lasts for hours, I explain all these things, and I show you what I do. I also show you glazing. I show you why I glaze, how I think, and what colors I use and stuff like that. So yeah, And as you can see, it's just, the whole process is just adding, and of course removing, moving things that I think is wrong spot. I just keep on building. I always say that the process would remind me of maybe having a wooden plate and then carve out a relief, or having a piece of stone and carving out these reliefs, or whatever you call it. So I look at the painting process as the same thing. You just have to kind of push some things down and you pull other things up. Yeah, and here you see I go more into detail. As you can see, I'm not a photorealist, but what I try to do is basically a more Rembrandt kind of painting style, or classical painting style, where I use thick colors and thin colors, and I try to create this sculpture thing. That is why I love Rembrandt's paintings, because they are so, at least the last ones and stuff. And also, of course, if you look at the Night Watch and the spear and how he built around it, it is that way of painting I'm thinking about. I'm not so interested in photorealism. There are some photorealists who's really doing a good job. There's this German guy I never really remember the name of, but he is making the most amazing photorealistic huge paintings, and there's almost no texture in them. It's very kept down, but it's really good, and he uses a hell of an amount of time on. Maybe I put a link to his art in description so you can actually see what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm gonna do that actually. Here you can see I just start to add in more. Back to that. As you see, I'm in love with paint. I'm in love with structure. Just adding paint, that is my thing. And I also like it to have this Vermeer quality to it, and combination with Rembrandt and stuff like that. Of course, I'm not saying because there was a guy in YouTube that started, oh, you're not as good as Rembrandt. I never said I am as good as Rembrandt. I do have Rembrandt and the best classics as an objective standard. It's like when it comes to training and health and stuff like that, you can have objective standards that you are stretching them yourself again up to. Like if I look at Brad Pitt in Fury, I mean, he's in his 50s, I'm in his 50s, and if he can have abs and a well-trained body, so can I. And that is why I can never become as pretty as Brad Pitt, okay? Because I'm not that pretty. But I'm not tall. I'm like 170 centimeters tall or something like that. I used to be a little bit taller, but you shrink as you age. Maybe I'm 169, I have no idea, really. I don't even dare measuring myself anymore. But anyway, you can have objective standard to stretch yourself against. And that is what I do also in painting. I'm not saying that I can become Rembrandt. It's not a goal in itself. What is a goal is to kind of have that struggle with yourself and try to build a life or something that is yours, that it reflect your subjectivity. And that is what I'm interested in painting and the creative process. No, I'm not competing with art history. I'm not competing with other artists. If I compete with somebody, it's me and the canvas. And that is what I'm competing with in everything I do. I'm not having that envious thing in me. I don't basically care what other people do. I think it's great when I do good work and make beautiful objects or do great things. But I'm not competing with anyone. I have ideals. I have Stoic philosophy. I have the greatest things in art. I have philosophy. I have science. But I do not compete. I just observe and try my best. And that is what you should do with your life. You should just pick a thing and do your best. So when you come to the end of your life, you can look back and say, hell, I did try. Now I'm going to show you some of the close-ups textures in these drawings, so you can see more close-up how it is. And there's also, after this these photos, there will be a little video of me showing you the painting, so you can look forward to that. So I also want to say, if you want me to teach you how to paint, you can go to my Patreon and sign up for like $5 or $15, and I will absolutely do my best to help you along. I hope to see you there and in my next video. Okay, welcome to the end of this time lapse. You can here see the finished painting, and I'm going to show you the textures and show you the painting process. You will also find a full tutorial in description and on my channel. So if you want to see the whole painting process, and the video actually lasts for 12 hours with a lot of segments, a lot of talk about life, death, painting, love, falling in love, being in the moment, what's important, and everything else that I constantly think and talk about in my videos. Especially worked a lot with the hips, actually, because they were quite difficult to do. She's very feminine and very beautiful. Also a very strong girl. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and give a thumbs up, leave a comment, and also go to my Patreon and sign up for $1.15, and I will teach you how to paint. And yeah, go check it out. I need all the support I can do, and remember to watch my other videos and give thumbs up and stuff like that. Comments are very welcome. I will answer all of them. So with this, I hope to see you in my next video.